Bible critters. Today we're going to hear about one of the two most amazing creatures in this list of Bible critters. Like the unicorn, it may not be alive today, but in the time of the Bible, oh yeah. I'm doing these broadcasts to encourage parents and families to spend time in the Bible during this time of social separation. You can help this process by sharing this. If you think it's worth their time, of course. But please share it. For this critter, what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to give you the biblical description. If you want, you can take a pencil and draw it as you hear the parts. You can pause for a moment and draw it. And then you'll begin to see why this critter is not something you're going to see at the Potter Park Zoo or even at the Detroit Zoo, just like the one tomorrow. Here's the description you can find in Job chapter 40, verses 15 through 24. First thing it says, it feeds on grass like an ox. Okay? Kind of hard to draw a picture of that. It has a powerful, large belly. Its tail sways like a cedar, which is a large tree with really long, tall trunks as well. It has thighs that are dense and powerful. And it has bones that are like tubes of bronze, limbs that are like rods of iron. And according to what it says in Job, where God is describing his critter, I almost said what the name was, it says that this animal is the first among God's creation. It also says other animals can play around it without fear, partially because it feeds on grass like an ox. It will rest in the water among the reeds and the lilies, and it's able to stand easily in a raging river and be unmoved. And it also says it's too big and too powerful to be captured. Now, there are some say that it is probably just a hippo or an elephant, and some have said crocodile, and you can look at the footnotes of your Bible and you'll see what it says as possibilities. I'm reminded of the story of the King of the Beasts. There was a lion walking through the jungle one day, because lions have often been called the King of the Beasts. And the lion was walking along and he said to the monkey, "Hey monkey, who's the King of the Beasts?" And the monkey said, "Oh, you are, King Lion, of course you are." He walked along a little further and saw a hyena and said, "Hyena, who's the King of the Beasts?" And the hyena said, "Oh, you are, O King of the Beasts." And the lion said, "Don't you forget it." Well, after going along for a while, the lion came across an elephant and said to the elephant, "All right, who's the King of the Beasts?" And the elephant reached over with his trunk and wrapped it around the lion and beat the lion off the ground a few times and then finally threw him. The lion got up and was kind of shaky, and he said, "Whoa, just because you don't know the answer, you don't have to get mad." Well, even though the lions may be the most fierce, we do understand that the elephants far surpass them. And some say that that's why this creature in Job chapter 40 has to be the elephant. But the description of the behavior does not fit either an elephant or a hippo. And by the way, if you go back to the description, have you seen an elephant tail? Have you seen a hippo tail? Does that in any way remind you of a great, tall, thick, majestic cedar tree that could stand 130 feet tall? I don't think so. So what can it be? It's clear to me, and probably it is to you if you imagined or drew what was described. Put the heavy legs on it, an enormous torso, and it's the greatest of God's creatures with a tail like a cedar log. In 1879, Othniel Charles Marsh discovered a dinosaur that became called the Brontosaurus, which is this enormous, you've seen the long neck, has a big long neck with a head on it, has a tail like a huge tree coming behind it with the legs that are so thick and strong. But then later on, the scientists determined that there really was no Brontosaurus, and for more than a century, there was no Brontosaurus. Yes, there was Apatosaurus, but no Brontosaurus. And then in 2015, scientific discoveries changed their mind and they decided, yes, there actually is a Brontosaurus, and both the Brontosaurus and the Apatosaurus are lumped into a term that is called, I believe it's the sauropods. And quite frankly, the description in Job 40 seems to fit only one type of animal known to man, and that is one of those sauropods, the Apatosaurus or maybe the Brontosaurus. But how could it be written in the Bible? How could there be a description of a dinosaur? Well, I happen to believe that after the flood, there were still dinosaurs that remained on the earth until the changing climate ended up making them go extinct. And they died out. And that the fossils that we discovered were actually left there during the Great Flood described in Genesis. Can it really be that the Bible talks about dinosaurs as animals that could be known to humans? That is really the most logical conclusion, as amazing as that might be for you. So our Bible critter for the day. In the Bible, it is called the behemoth. When God said in Job chapter 40, verse 15, consider the behemoth. Probably a sauropod that you figured was only a fossil at the time of the Bible. Might give you some food for thought.